It's your boy Rex Kain, y'all. So listen, today I'm finna be talking about what is spirituality and how is spirituality and religion different and how they are really truthfully kind of very similar in nature, although not the same thing. They still they still have a certain likeness, you know what I'm talking about, certain similarities and shit, right? So now it's a whole bunch of misconception about okay if you because me I'm not religious at all personally like I don't need a religion on how to be like a very moral person. I can just kind of see like what's really good, you know what I'm talking about, and what's kind of like really bad even according to my perception. But still I'm about like what's more healthy and what's more sustainable for everybody, you know what I'm talking about, overall long term. So that's kind of how my mind's really framed and set up in a way, honestly. But so now I want to just really get into like this topic about what spirituality is, because you got so many people that are completely confused about it, right? They think that if you religious, you can't be spiritual, or you have to, or religious people think that if you're not religious, then you ain't spiritual. It's like a whole bunch of weird shit. So today I'm going to be using some I'm also a Vedic astrologer. I have 200 reviews, literally 200 reviews. I got a couple of video reviews. I go live on Facebook all the time and do a whole bunch of reviews. I will type my social media platforms at the bottom of this once I'm finally finished with this on this video. So y'all, yes, y'all. So listen, let's just jump right into it. So now, what is spirituality? And I'm also a Vedic astrologer, right? So I'm very much into like the Hinduism kind of concepts, right? A lot of y'all who like Buddhism, I always remember Buddhism is like a offshoot of Hinduism, right? Real talk. It's not exactly the same, but guess what? The person who started that shit, guess where he was from? Guess what he was? Allegedly, you know, because I don't like to throw around like historical terms, like I 100% know the truth. From what we've been told by the books and whatever they type on the internet or whatever, that's all we have to really go off of. You know what I'm talking about? So allegedly, you know, that's how the story went. So now, what is spirituality? Spirituality is a broad concept with room for many perspectives. Key, many perspectives, right? In general, it includes a sense of connection to something bigger than ourselves, right? And I got some of this stuff off of the AI generated shit. But yes, y'all listen. So basically, spirituality, it's a broad concept, right? That's why so many people, it's so much shit you can kind of cram into it, real talk. But basically, like it just said, it's a sense of connection to something bigger than ourselves. Like, oh my God, you connected to God. You connect to your ancestors. You connected to the universe. See, I just said three different things, but everybody feel like that they are connected, right? Real. So think about it. The Christian people, they feel like they connected to God. You as a spiritual person feel like you connected to the universe or light codes, whatever y'all be talking about. You as another type of spiritual person, you more so around the ancestral type of mind frame, that like the ancestors are guide you. And I'm here to tell y'all, in a certain aspect, all of y'all are correct in a certain aspect, right? Real shit. So now, spirituality is recognizing and celebrating that we are all inextricably connected, right, to each other by a power greater than all of us, right? And that's how. And but think about it. Don't Christian people feel like no, God is made? We're connected all. We're the children of God. Real shit. They made us. God made. God made us in His image or whatever. That's how a lot of Christians feel. Then you got spiritual people. They be like, no, we are the actual gods. We are the actual this. We are the actual that. You see what I'm saying? Then you get people like, no, we are our ancestors, right? You're just a reincarnation of who they was. So a lot of people believe in these various different like belief systems. And I'm just using them just to like, you know, to kind of nail my points in. But now, look what it says: relating to religion or religious belief. You can go look it up, man. Don't skip no definition. So from 1, 2, 3, we see the spirituality is really about just connecting to something higher, right? That's one of the concepts, right? We're gonna address the other one. So now the etymology. Now, do I 100% trust etymology? I'm gonna say sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. The reason why I'm so skeptical about people, I have a very cynical view of the world. I know that a lot of people aren't really truly moral, and a lot of people just want you to get their ideas. You know what I'm talking about? So what does that mean? They're the type of anything as long as they can get you to believe it. They don't really care if it can probably like damage you or mess you up in the end. They're not really worried about that. So I do understand that a lot of people will just say shit just for clout, attention, notoriety, all that shit, right? So that's why I'm a lot of times I'm kind of really Mm, I need to see the oldest book to say that. Because what if you get the oldest book and it say, well, hold up, this etymology don't even stop right here. It really traces back further to this word. You think you saying a bad word the whole time? Motherfucker just wrote it down and we just followed it. I feel like if we just follow everything that we say historical, that's really no different from just following the Bible or following religion. So, you know what I'm talking about, in a silly, blind manner. You know what I'm talking about? But for research purposes of what I find out off the internet, we're just gonna look at this. So basically, life, the animating or vital principle in the man in man and animals. From Anglo-French spirit, Old French spirit, spirit soul, right? So check this out. It means a breathing, right? Breath of God. You know what I'm saying? Inspiration, breath of life, hence life itself, right? This comes from Latin, which is younger than the Hindu etymology, which Vedic astrology comes from. So like I said earlier, I'm a Vedic astrologer, heavily into the Vedic astrology, right? Because it really makes way more sense than all this other shit. I'm not gonna even care. That's why Buddhism makes so much sense because it's an offshoot of what allegedly Hinduism, right? You know what I'm talking about? The Hindu word, and let's go back to Sanskrit. Excuse me. The Hindu word for spirit is Atman, right? Which is a Sanskrit word that translates to self or breath, right? It refers to true essence that is beyond the ego or false self. Explanation. Atman, the word Atman is often used to refer to the soul or spirit, right? But it can also refer to the body or mind, right? You understand that shit? It is considered the eternal self of the or the real person side of an individual. So just between 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you see how, listen, we're going from the, you know what I'm talking about, connecting to something that's greater than us up here at the top. Then when you get around towards the Hindu definition, like it said, considered the eternal self or the real person inside of an individual, real shit. Because you got to remember, the soul is supposedly what binds us to this actual realm and shit, right? You understand? Oh shit. The soul is what binds us to this realm and shit. So check this out. It's what binds us to this physical body too. Real shit. In Hinduism, Atman is the concept of the universal, eternal self that resides in the soul of all things, right? Atman is not the body, but the divine consciousness of the soul, right? Atman exists in all things in the universe, humans, animals, rocks, rivers, trees, poetry, and science, right? So basically, it's saying Atman is everything, right? But check this out, but they say it can also refer. They say refer, so it's not necessarily mean it's the body or mind. I might say, oh, they kind of contradict itself, but really it is. It's really everything, right? But for us specifically, it's the spirit or the actual soul, right? Real shit. Okay. But like I said, it is not the body, but it's divine content. So it's like the energy that makes up everything, right? That's one. It's just like it's like creation in and of itself. And for anybody who knows astrology, you all know the fifth house rules creativity, right? And creation. And guess what it's ruled by? The planet Sun. And guess what the Sun rules over? The Sun is the soul inside of all astrology, right? So now let's scroll down. So now let's connect this to Vedic astrology. Oh, astrology principles. In astrology, the ninth house, preferably in Vedic. Hold on, let me type this. In Vedic astrology, the ninth house is associated with religion, spirituality. Think about that. Religion, spirituality, and personal beliefs. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? It is known as the Dharma Baba or the house of God. It is ruled by Jupiter, right? And Jupiter is the planet of what? Wisdom, the planet of belief, spirituality. Like it just said, Jupiter. So since Jupiter ruled over this ninth house, Jupiter itself is associated with all these qualities, right? Personal beliefs in general, right? Basically. So you can even be atheist. That's also a belief system that you don't believe in anything because that's the belief. You firmly believe that there's nothing, literally. In astrology, the 12th house is deeply connected to spirituality, representing the subconscious mind, intuition, dreams, and a hidden aspect of our psyche, essentially signifying a space for profound spiritual growth and connection to a higher self through solitude, introspection, right? Through solitude and introspection. It is considered the most psychic and mysterious area of the birth chart, where one might experience profound spiritual insights and transformation. This is ruled by Jupiter, the same planet that, hold up, that rules religion as well. Y'all understand that? Jupiter rule over the house of just regular spirit of like so the 12th house is more of like a liberated spirituality, right? It's like, okay, I'm this, I don't really need to worship anything. I'm one with the cosmos, I'm one with the universe type of shit. That's what kind of like the 12th house is. I'm about detaching myself from everything and trying to find, it's about what the higher source is. Maybe it has no name, but whatever it is, I'm trying to find it. That's kind of what the 12th house is about. The ninth house in Vedic astrology is about like primarily religion in general. That's why the ninth house is ruled by Sagittarius, a fire based sign, right? Aggressive energy, right? And what fire does, what spread, right? You see what I'm saying? Especially if it's not contained, because you got Aries fire, Leo fire, Sagittarius fire. But Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Jupiter's the planet of expansion. Do y'all understand that shit? So this is kind of like a wildfire. They just keep getting bigger, 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 and bigger, right? So why religion got so big. Whereas the 12th house, this is like the subconscious mind, intuition, the hidden aspects of our psyche. You know what I'm talking about? This is when you go within, right? And you really truly find self. This is why this is also considered to be this is also not considered, but the last house. Real shit. So now moksha, right, is a spiritual concept in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism that represents liberation, release, or nirvana. It is the ultimate goal in Hindu spirituality and is also known as salvation, mukti, or freedom from bondage, right? So essentially, you got to remember, you got some folks like, man, I just want to be one with the universe. I'm tired of being on this world. Or some folks saying, hey, I want to be one with Christ. Or some folks say, hey, I want to be so and so like with my ancestors. See, people trying to liberate themselves from here by connecting to something that they believe is there, or something that they feel like they know they is there, whether it's the ancestral realm, the spiritual realm in general. I'm just summing it all up. Whatever version of belief of spiritual realm you want to believe in, we can just slice that shit up to that. Right? But that's essentially what moksha is. It's the ultimate goal, is liberating yourself from the life of from the wheel of samsara. Now I'm gonna do another video about that shit probably tomorrow, the wheel of samsara. But and that's the cycle of life and death and rebirth, right? In Vedic astrology, the signs considered most associated with moksha, liberation, are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, collectively known as the moksha tricona, liberation triangle. You understand this shit? Because they are all water signs representing deep introspection, spirituality, and a connection to the higher self. Yes, Scorpio is the sign associated with the eighth house in astrology. The eighth house is also known as the house of what? Transformation. Real shit. Yes, the eighth house is associated with psychology, right? It is said to represent the subconscious mind, repressed memories, and deep-seated fears. The eighth house is also thought to encourage self-understanding and healing. So, so the reason why I brought it up is because a lot of this shit is kind of like it's your beliefs are kind of really based off of your psychological makeup, right? What you relate to, right? What you see in the world, right? How you perceive yourself. A lot of that shit comes from like the a strong psychological perspective, right? But notice, one of the houses of spirituality, the eighth house, and one of the signs, spirituality, Scorpio, they both rule side by side, hand in hand, rule over liberating from this shit. They rule over transformation. They rule over introspection, but they rule over the psychological nature, right? So that means that spirituality in and of itself is also connected to psychology, right? Because the psychological way that you perceive the life, the psychological way that you perceive life and yourself in it, and your path, is what kind of guides you to these different belief systems, right? Real shit. I'm keeping it above. And it said, atheists are also spiritual, cause the cause they believe. I typed that shit in too incorrectly. So in truth, anybody can be spiritual as long as they believe in connecting with something higher than self and realizing they and that thing are one, right? Like, oh, me and the ancestors are one. Me and God is one. Me and the universe are one. That's one way, right? Or even if they don't believe, and the object of hold up, hold up. Even if they don't believe, and okay, even if they don't believe, they and the object of acknowledgement and worship are connected as one, but both separate, right? This still classified spiritual. This has some people like, no, I'm not God. I believe in God. I'm His children. I'm not Him. I come from Him. I'm trying to connect back to Him, right? That's still spiritual, right? Whereas you got other people say, no, you ain't a child of God. You are God. You see how it's they're both beliefs. It's just different types of belief, right? Real shit. One is kind of giving full power away sometimes, lot of folk believe. And the other one is just like, listen, I'm taking this shit into my hands, right? Real shit. I'm telling y'all, that's how it is. So, anybody can also be spiritual if, hold up, if they reach deep within and realize one's own true purpose and self, true authenticity, right? The thing is that you can be spiritual and religious and still not spiritual. I mean, no. You can be. The thing is that you can be spiritual and religious, or not religious and still spiritual. Yeah, you still gonna be classified as spiritual. Real shit. I'm telling you. And so now, listen. This is kind of like the four aims of life when it comes to the Hindu. I got this off of Reddit. I seen it's a whole bunch of people that explain it. Like he explained it, right? So. In Vedic astrology or in Hinduism, basically, which where Vedic astrology come from, which how I read folks' birth charts, and I got the 200 reviews. I read y'all chart about life, it's my health, career, money, finances, parents, family, anything your ass name it. The birth chart can be found. And in Vedic astrology, you have 16 different birth charts, not just that one initial birth chart, like a lot of astrologers would have you think. In tropical, they get harmonic and persona charts, and that's kind of similar to that. But the thing about Vedic is it's more astronomically accurate, right? Now, when we talk about the purpose in life, you gotta understand this shit. This is how they look alike. In four, these are called push arthurs, right? Nigga, push arthurs or Purusha arthurs is one of them. So now you got karma, artha, and dharma, and moksha, right? So now listen, karma. Karma is interpreted as receiving pleasures in a deeper sense. The purpose of life can be understood as the fulfillment of one's desires to get rid of them, liberation through satisfaction, the realization of desires while not harming others. Karma is what kind of keep you on the actual, you know what I'm talking about, cycle of life and death, right? The concept in Vedic astrology, Hinduism is this: is that the more that you attach yourself to shit here, right? For real, that's the more that you desire, really, the more that you desire, that's what keeps putting you back on this actual earth. You desire, you desire, you desire. This would be known as like the planet Rahu, and like your third, seventh, and 11th house in your birth chart too. Real shit, pleasure, sexuality, overindulging in like money or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Anything to just kind of make you just feel good, like that, like. Too many dopamine hits, and that's all you living for. That's like that common shit. Now, the art is the accumulation of wealth, but wealth is not only in a material sense. It is the accumulation and preservation of knowledge, health, and material wealth. At the same time, you must learn not to become attached to them throughout life. Accumulate without attachment. A lot of people cannot do that shit. That's what that whole saying of like, listen, you can't take it with you once you leave here. Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. You can't take it. You can't take the shit that you are so obsessed with you when you leave this motherfucker. A lot of people say that shit, and that is very true. This is why you shouldn't get stuck in Come or Arthur. This is what gonna keep putting your ass back here. Come and Arthur, right? Come and Arthur, right? Come and Arthur. Real shit. Now, Dharma. Dharma implies responsibility and fulfillment of one's duties. Follow the path you are on, right? People often ask, what does this mean? For a monk, this is a rejection of everything worldly. For a layman, on the contrary, it is the duty of creating family. If you are a woman, you must be a mother, sister, wife, etc., right? Each of these fields has its responsibilities, right? To follow the path honestly and faithfully is Dharma, right? Observe morality and laws conscientiously. I think that's what it says. Perform their work of service. So Dharma is like, okay, I'm here. What is my duty and my role and my fulfillment? That's kind of what Dharma is. fulfillment, purpose, and duties and roles. That's what it is, right? So this is kind of like it's like an organizing structure on how to get shit done essentially for you, right? In the best way possible, right? Best way possible don't mean happiest way possible. Don't mean most favorite way possible because everybody wants the most good and most positive shit to be said, but that's not how life works in and of itself, right? You understand? So I always understand this shit. Dharma is like, okay, listen, we got a plan. Let's map this shit out. Let's get this shit together, right? So Dharma can help balance out that karma and that artha, right? Because you get too stuck in the karma, you just on the player's rule desire trip, right? You get too stuck in the artha, you getting big headed, and you can't really understand your identity outside of your resources and wealth and the accumulation of it, real shit. So Dharma gonna kind of regulate that shit, right? Now, moksha, the last point in the video. Moksha is the liberation from the material world, attachments, and an exit from the wheel of reincarnations. It is the realization of the illusionary nature of the world, and often people come to this through suffering, right? Life deprives them of material happiness, but it gives them the realization of what is of what is true value in life. This is the path to spiritual values and freedom from material addictions and desires, right? Listen, material addictions, Arthur, material desires, karma, real shit. Notice I ain't saying nothing about Dharma because following the right Dharma correctly, but it's somewhere on that motherfucker you start to become attached. You can Dharma is the easiest. Dharma is closely is the fastest way. So sometimes to really it's the fastest way period to go to motion because if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and you understand, okay, listen, everything is temporary. This is kind of like an illusion world or whatever, and then you really want to the detach. You damn near might start to really like kind of like build and work yourself up to it. But I'm gonna go over all these three different things in different videos. But yes, y'all. But like moksha, literally, it's like, listen, I'm done with this world. I'm done with everything, and I can do without, right? Because having desires puts you back here, right? The desire to have sex, the desire to eat some type of food, the desire for just anything, it's simple or big, real shit, will put your ass back in here to experience that shit for a whole life cycle. That's kind of how that shit goes, theoretically, if you following their school of thought and their doctrine, real shit. So moksha is the final goal, y'all. Listen, separating yourself from all that shit. Who are you without? Like, come on now, for real. You. That's what kind of fuck people up. They are completely attached to things, and when them things leave, they fucked up after, right? But like you said, most people go through this through suffering. You want to know why? The fourth house rules moksha. That's the mind, right? Or the happiness. But the eighth house rule moksha. That's the house of crisis events, right? Because that shit can lead you right into a motherfucking spiritual awakening. And the 12th house rules isolation and losses. That's another moksha house. Because being alone for too long, right? Or losing so much shit, you start to kind of find out who you are without anything. Real shit. So yeah, y'all, listen, I just wanted to go put this on YouTube real quick. You know what I'm talking about? And then listen, and I got this right here. He wrote it right here. So y'all can do this shit right here and then copy it, whatever and go find him or whatever, you know what I'm talking about, and see what he talking about. I got this shit from Quora. I always understand this shit. I be on Quora a lot. So now let me type in my Facebook for everybody to see. Now listen, my Facebook, I be on here a lot, right? I think that's it. Inferno Rex or Rex Angel Kain or Kain Ultima. You can add all three of those pages. I'm preferably on it in front of Rex all the time. Now, for my IG, Rex Kain with two N's. Now, for my TikTok, TikTok, right there. Revelation Kain. Real talk. Y'all listen, y'all follow me there. Y'all got my YouTube, like, share, subscribe. And if you got any personal questions, listen. I do a lot of readings, y'all. I got a lot of reviews. But this the one I be on the most, Inferno Rex, real talk. So y'all come follow me. Y'all come holler. But until then, I will talk to y'all later, man. Peace.